Hey everybody, this is Fat Man and the Stoner. I'm Jarrett, the Fat Man.
The Stoner.
What's your name?
Robin.
There you go. Today we're reviewing Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. We just saw it tonight. We're gonna try to keep it as spoiler free as possible. However, I'm gonna throw a warning up here: possible spoilers. So let's start off with the first topic, number one. References to the game. There was a well-balanced references to the game. You've got the creatures. You've got particular class abilities that you do see within the movie. Not technically a spoiler, but I will spoil like something you do get to see. Sorry, we do have a new puppy. He is a little shy.
Okay.
The paladin in the movie, kind of when they're in this section, kind of inhales in the air and says there's evil here. Great reference to the paladin, because in the actual D&D game, paladins can actually smell evil and hear, because in the description it says when they have, because they have detect good and evil, it can be a noxious odor or an angelic sound for either one. But there are a lot of really cool references to the game in the movie, which I think is a perfect setup that I think it does pretty well. She's not talking much during this particular section because she's not really a big D&D player. I am trying to get her into it, though. So it is a thing. Number two is the representation of the classes. I feel that they represented the classes very well within the movie. Chris Pine as a bard fits. I think he did a fantastic job as a bard. Not necessarily the greatest bard I've seen in movies. However, there's not a lot of representation for D&D. But we've got shows like Vox Machina. We've got other D&D inspired TV shows that do bard just, I think, a little bit better.
Yeah, this one was a bit subtle because he was just like, I'm the plan guy.
Yeah, he didn't really get to shine much as bards do within the combat. Other than that, I think Michelle Rodriguez plays a fighter or a barbarian. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to lean more toward barbarian, which, if that's the case, done very well. As a fighter, also done very well, because a lot of her scenes involve, kicking ass.
Massive people.
Other than that, the sorcerer wizard characters are represented pretty well. The druid wild shape is very much well represented as well. Not the main bad guy, but Hugh Grant's character, definitely a rogue. Like, you could definitely see him as a rogue character.
Yeah. Especially with his charisma.
Yeah.
He's a con man.
Definitely. Other than that, we're going to move on to the next one, which is 3. How well do we feel the actors did? How do you think that they did overall in the movie?
I think they did pretty well for their characters, though. They did pretty well for their characters, them playing the characters. Not Chris Pine's best performance, because as a planner guy, yes. Not so much as a bard, but...
How do you feel about the rest of them? Not just Chris Pine or Michelle Rodriguez. What about, I had her name, the druid, and the sorcerer, plus the paladin.
This is
true. Like I said, we just saw the movie tonight. We decided to sit down and record this video. So if we're not quite 100% there, yeah. But again, that's what the show's called. Fat Man, Stoner. It's supposed to be very raw, uncut, just personal opinions. So. Yeah,
I think the actors did really well, even with the action scenes, all of them.
I think Hugh Grant, did the best, in my personal opinion. I think he played the character to a T, solid, just fantastic.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think the Paladin is my second favorite, just because of the way he kind of exhumes himself, like...
Yeah.
Because he reminds me a lot of Drax, a little bit, with the whole, like, some of the things that he says in the movie. Other than that, overall, a very good movie. I would have really liked to see them step more into the characters instead of it. Like, it definitely feels like this is being played out in a D&D game, which is fantastic for the movie since it is Dungeons and Dragons. However, it needs to be more toward like a fantasy film. Like I was saying earlier, it definitely feeds into D&D, and it feels like this is being played out on a table.
Yeah.
Like, because you can get the feeling like of them kind of like
with all of their choices that they make in the movie, you can tell because some of them are good, some of them are bad because it's usually based off of a dice roll.
Really makes you question if like maybe this was a campaign that they played behind the scenes just to like work out how everything's gonna play,
how their characters are gonna go out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're going to talk about... This is where the spoilers are going to come in, so if you don't want any spoilers, go ahead and click off the video now. So, the movie does set up for sequels, but it also sets up for spinoffs, too, which I think is a fantastic idea because I think this has the potential of setting up a D&D cinematic universe, which would be fantastic for the fans.
Alluding with like if they include Vox Machina, Critical Role.
So that would be cool. Like it would be cool to see like maybe a crossover, but Vox Machina actually takes place in its own separate universe from the like Icewind Dale, Baldur's Gate, all of that. Those are the main D&D places.
I mean, at least those like the people that are behind Critical Role.
Like cameos and stuff. I'd have definitely loved to seen some Critical Role cameos. So I'm not going to be lying.
Them be playing as characters in the game, but we know who they are.
Touche. Other than that...
Or not in the game, in the movie.
Overall review, I think it's an excellent movie. I think you should definitely go down to the theaters and see it. I don't recommend going to theaters often just because of how expensive going to the movies has become. So I do recommend going to the theaters and at least sitting down and watching this movie. It is probably my favorite movie of the year. However, she would probably know a little bit more about movies of the year because she's the one who went and saw Avatar, The Way of the Water.
Okay, Avatar was good. But this one I'd say was also a good movie as well. That's come out so far.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to rank it. I'm going to give it a 8.5 out of 10 for me. The reason it's not getting a 10 out of 10 is because there are definitely some things they could have fixed. There are definitely some other things that
they could have put into.
Could have put in, taken out a little bit. Like, there are some sections where you're like, was this really needed? Other than that, yeah, like I said, 8.5. I think that's a solid rating for me. What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it about, I'd give it an 8.
An 8?
An 8.
Any particular reason why?
Just because I'm also talking from an outside standpoint of D&D.
Speaking of which, that's actually going to be our last topic. How do you feel as an outsider of D&D that this movie was? Like, does it fit into something you would watch?
Oh, yeah.
Like, fantasy movie, as someone who's never played the game.
A lot like the way that Vox Machina is, it really reels you in to want to know more about D&D. And I love that. Which is why I'm trying to get into D&D.
Fair enough. Alrighty, so you have it here, 8.5, 8. We'll call it a solid 8. That is our overall review of it. If you guys want to discuss anything further, do it down in the comment section down below. We will try to get to all the comments if there are any.
Suggestions
also. Sorry for the lighting. Our light bulb for the room did go out, so we're just using the phone on the camera. And sorry if the audio is not quite up to par. We are also using the phone audio. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching The Fat Man and the Stoner. See you next time.